Hi everyone. I'll be discussing about my project demo to environment. So what this project basically does is it's an interactive Mojoko environment for robot manipulation demonstrations. So we in robotics we usually have large HDF files, demonstration files. It could be RoboMimic format, RoboSuite format, or sometimes some other different format. Although RoboSuite and RoboMimic are the most common ones. Uh, but we can only usually open those HDF demo files in a RoboSuite framework. And if it doesn't belong to a RoboMimic or RoboSuite type framework, we have to like manually inspect the HDF files. Also, you need to have RoboSuite setup, so your system is usually dependent on that. Um, so we built a toolkit which converts any recorded manipulation demonstration into a live interactive physics simulation. So you can see what your recorded data, which is recorded as the values, you can see what your recorded data looks like. The supported hardware is the Francopanda arm, which is 7 degrees of freedom, and the UR5E arm, which is 6 degrees of freedom. You can replay demos and manually control them. Control those demos, existing demos, to create more data, generate more data, and record new trajectories. So why was it built? Several reasons like schema, heterogeneity. Not all frameworks are the same. RoboMimic is slightly different from RoboSuite, and there are other frameworks out there. So your HDF file, there's for example RoboTwin, its schema is quite different from RoboSuite one. So your HDF file can be different depending on your framework. Um, the naming convention can be different, and you'll have to manually write the scripts to inspect the files again. And if you want to load it as a scene, you would have to write a lot of XML code, which is again time consuming and a lot of work. Um, Also, when you try to replay your loaded demo file, you try to modify something in it. Cartesian inverse kinematics control is not available in most of the existing simulators without specialized hardware. So joint control is available. You can select the joints and move them, but not Cartesian control. um, and for joint control, it can be sometimes tricky to reach the object. And also we should have the flexibility, like Cartesian inverse kinematics control is not currently there in most simulators. Scene variation. So we want one of the things we had in mind is that, let's say I have an existing demo. Let's say I have a demo with picking a cube, picking a block. I just want, it's like data augmentation. I want the same data. So in picking a can, I would have almost a similar trajectory. Maybe the grasp would be a bit different, but the trajectory would be almost similar. For lifting a lot of tasks, you could swap a cube for a cylinder or a sphere. So it's like data augmentation, which is possible by swapping objects in your existing data set. So if I record a data set with lifting a block, I should be able to swap an object and record another data set with that. So this project aims to fix all these limitations. Uh, so what are project the features, the main features or modes we have, capabilities we have currently in this simulator is this: we can replay our recorded demo with just one terminal command line. No need to write those all those files again. And you can replay them, and you can, the second is joint control. You can nudge individual joints, base joint, shoulder joint, arm joint, wrist joint. You can select the joints just using your keypad and move them again using your keypad and record a new demonstration. Or you could control them in a Cartesian manner, move forward in X direction or move forward in Y direction. Again, these are things you can just do using your keypad. And yeah, also like gripper open closed, you can do this using a keypad. And just to move between the different modes, to move between replay to joint control to inverse kinematics control, you can do it while in the same simulator. No different command line, just press tab to move between modes, so you don't have to reload the simulator again or write some code again. So what happens in our remote environment? It's so first script is our HDF5 detector. It's an algorithm which maps arbitrary keys to their physical roles. It is done using keyword matching, and we pick like, using keyword matching we find the observations and the actions, the joint control, and and the end effector, the joint position, the end effector positions, and we map it to the right physical rules. uh, and hence we have a detector that detects all the right variables, and hence we have a summary of our hdf5 data file, and it also extracts the metadata, all the details of the environment and the objects, and it's able to build a scene out of it. We have a real-time DLS inverse kinematics solver. So a damp least squares Cartesian inverse kinematics solver is able to give us Cartesian control, unlike other simulators. And we have scene assembly. We have although we have Mijoko assets for the scenes, but if you do not download the setup script, you don't have to run any code. The setup script downloads the Mujoko assets for you, and our script checks if the Mujoko assets are available. It loads those assets while loading the scene. So if you have Mujoko assets, the Mujoko panda arm will be loaded automatically. But in case you don't have to set up, the fallback is to primitive robot arm and all this primitive, capsules and cylinders. So those cylinders build up the robot arm, and for block you will have another small block, and so if we have primitive objects which are mainly capsule cylinders and and end blocks, uh, to act as a fallback if the Mujoko assets are not set up. And swappable objects, again, like I said, we need to have data augmentation, and you can just swap objects in between the scene while recording a demo, and record your demo data, you record your demo with another object. And there are very many objects available for you to choose from. uh, yeah, so what's the need for this is closing the loop for imitation learning. For imitation learning, we need a lot of data, and this is just an attempt to not only to visualize your files without a lot of work. You can visualize your demonstration files without writing a lot of code, but also for data augmentation, like I said, for imitation learning. Uh, and the format in which we record the data is a standard seven-dimensional action format, which is standard across all RoboMimic datasets. So the only thing you have to do is open the code, load the simulator, just tell the scenes, swap the scenes, whatever object you want, and record your data. And the hdf5 file you record with this data, you only have to operate the keypad to record the data, and the recorded hdf5 file would be in the standard RoboMimic format. So you have this way, you start with a few data files, and you don't do uh, a lot of simulator operation. You just do a few keypad operations, and you have way more data files than you begin with. Yeah, action vector is in the standard end effector position, rotation, and gripper position, which is +1 for open and -1 for close. So it's a standard RoboMimic format. Different modes available. These are some demos of our system. This is a demo one, which is how can you switch between the different modes. So here we have specified the robot as Panda, but as we'll see later, even if you don't specify what robot it is, it's able to detect from your HDF5 file. So when you load your HDF5 file, just tell it the file name. It automatically replays every demo in sequence from your data file. As we can see now, there is no teleoperation or keypad operation or whatever. This is replaying the demos in a file. Uh, Now we can switch to joint control, and we can select the joint, and we can see all joints are working pretty well. So we've selected shoulder joint here. The shoulder joint is moving fine. We can select other joints, for example, shoulder left. Yeah, that is working well too. Um all done using just keypad again. uh, Whatever joint you want to move on the num keypad, select, press the joint name, press the joint number, and you can move the joint, and press the joint number, the joint gets activated, and then you just move it using the plus minus keys on your keypad. And then we move to inverse kinematics control, which is the Cartesian control. Again, it is simply done using plus minus keys on your keypad. We'll operate it a bit using Cartesian control, and we'll try to grab it. I won't take much of your time here. Yeah, the grippers are working fine. I can open and close the grippers. For grippers, you have the command of divide and multiply. If divide opens the grippers and multiply closes it. And let's move back to replay. Again, to move back to replay, you just have to press tab and it will start replaying the demos as it was given. So you could replay the demos, or you could operate in joint control and record them, or you could operate in Cartesian control and record them. So replay mode, as we see, is working fine again. It's just a tab to move cyclically. uh, let's move back. Let's move to the next experiment, which is, sorry. So demo 2 is how can we swap objects in the scene itself. So you just, again, press keys O or P to cycle between objects, or you can specify the object terminal. Uh, so I swapped a cube for a cylinder here by pressing P, an object for a mug. Uh, and it replaced the same cube demo on a mug now. And you can also record new demos like we saw before. You could also do joint control or Cartesian control. We're just replaying swapping objects, and swapping was pretty seamless as you saw. Let's go to another experiment, which is automatic environmental detection and loading. So as you see, when we have the lift data file, it will automatically detect that, okay, from the by reading the hdf5 data, it detects that it's a lift environment. Wait, where is it? Yeah, so it detects that the environment is lift and the object to be lifted is a red cube. It detects it from the environment, and it starts replaying the demos. Yeah, but let's say we had a different environment. Now we load the can environment, can data set, which is pick and place. You pick a can and place it somewhere else. So it's already detected automatically from the hdf5 file, the environment and the object, and it replays the demos now. Note that we do not have all the assets in the environment compatible yet. So here, the fixture for placing the can is not available yet. But as you can see, it automatically detects the environment, and it's able to follow the right trajectory. So it's able to pick the can. It's able to detect that it's a pick and place task, and load the environment. And load the environment with the can, and then it's able to follow the trajectory. It's able to pick it and place it. It's placing where the fixture is supposed to be in the original scene. That's one limitation, that we lack fixtures, but uh, it does automatic environment detection and loading well. uh, Next year, getting started is, you just have to install a few dependencies, which are Mujoko and some stuff. And when you once you set up, you have to download the Mujoko assets. Again, you just have to run a script for that, and then you just run the main file with part to your demo data set. That's it. Or you can, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. Yeah.